So looking back at my previous relationships, I can see that there were so many red flags that I just completely and utterly ignored. Probably because on some level I thought that I was going to love them out of it and I was going to love them better, and I myself was going to be the transformation that they needed, that love would be enough. And what I've learnt over the years through many, many disappointments and realizations of things that I need, and the fact that I myself am not responsible for changing anybody or making somebody willing, and that if they don't, then it says nothing about my worth. Now I can see that love isn't enough sometimes, and as sad as that is, it's quite liberating to realize that love isn't enough. Because you have to have compatibility and you have to have a willingness. Actually, compatibility is one of these questionable things, because actually everybody's different and you just have to have a willingness to accept each other's differences, a willingness to come to the table. And that means that love can grow and can bloom. But when that willingness is not there, when that curiosity is not there, when that care for the relationship and the other person is not there on both sides, then there are certain things that people say that are massive red flags, okay? And in this video, we are going to talk about these red flags. Because honestly, if I was going on a date now and someone said these things to me, I'd be like, see ya, like, bye. I cannot put myself through that ever again. And it's that whole thing. Oprah Winfrey used to say this, and I used to really hate hearing it because I didn't want it to be true. But when someone tells you who they are, you've got to believe them the first time. And I say this with caution, because I also believe that people can change, right? I also do believe that people can change. But let's say you go on a date or you're with somebody and they say these things that we're going to talk about in this video. They're telling you that in this moment, the person that they are is not the person that you want to be with, because they are avoidant in some way, right? So the first thing they might say is, and by the way, I've written my ebook, it's just finishing touches now, and you will be able to find responses to all these things in my new ebook. It is so epic. It's got like every single situation that you could ever think of, and lots of different variations of what you could reply based on the level of the connection, how long it's been going on for, if you want to be cheeky, if you want to be boundaried, if you want to be gentle with it. Honestly, it's got everything in it. It's so good, and it's going to be coming out soon. But if you're in the Heartbreak Healers, you get it for free, and you get it now because I've just sent it to them. So that's a good idea. Join the Heartbreak Healers. Okay, so what are these red flag things that we need to look out for? First thing is, if they tell you straight up, I'm not good with commitment and I'm not good with relationships, you're just going to have to go, because that is a massive red flag. That's no good for you. If you want a loving relationship that is committed and they're literally telling you that they're not good with commitment, they're not for you. End of story. The next thing is if they tell you that you're being too sensitive. That's a huge indicator that they don't have the capacity to sit with discomfort or to sit with their own feelings, right? And if they can't sit with their own feelings and they're calling you too sensitive, it means that they're really not going to have the capacity to sit with yours. And, too sensitive is honestly just a cop-out for people who don't have that ability to hold space for the fact that people are different and people experience things differently. You don't want to be with somebody who considers you too sensitive. You can be with somebody who knows that you are sensitive, and that be okay. But if they're saying that you're too sensitive, bye. Okay? Same with, oh, you're causing too much drama. You know what? That is a big, big red flag. If someone's saying, oh, you're causing too much drama, just stop being such a drama queen. Again, it's gaslighting. It's a way to sort of get you to not address something in the relationship that might mean they have to take accountability, right? So we don't want that. If somebody tells you that they don't want kids or marriage and you do want kids or marriage, literally you have to take that as a really big red flag for you. because it's a massive misalignment in the future that you both want. So if you invest more in this connection when you want completely different things, it's going to become really messy. So this is whether they're avoidant or not, right? If somebody's telling you literally something that means that they're going to avoid this thing that you really want, then that's going to create a lot of friction and tension in you, and you're going to feel like you have to convince them of something that they've told you straight up they don't want. So you want to meet somebody and be with somebody who's like, yeah, I want the same thing. It feels so good when you meet somebody who wants the same thing as you, right? So that's a really big red flag if they say that they don't want something that you really, really want. If they say something like, I don't really like talking about feelings, can we not just have fun? Again, massive red flag. That's an indicator that they're not going to be able to hold your experience. And if you are a deeply feeling sensitive person, you need to be able to feel safe enough to talk about whatever comes up for you. And not to say that the person that you're with should be 100% of the time on, always listening, always there, always empathetic. Like, they don't have to be 100%, but they have to be willing to have the maturity to be able to listen whenever it's necessary, and actually more than that, they have to want to. This is the thing with somebody who is right for you. This won't even be an ask. You won't have to ask for this because they will just want to do it. They'll want to understand you. They'll want to hear what you've got to say. They'll want to hear about your feelings because they matter to you, because they care about you, right? That's a huge, huge difference from somebody who's saying, oh, I don't really do feelings, and why do we have to talk about feelings all the time? Oh my God, it's so annoying. That makes you feel so not okay. It makes you feel really unseen, really unheard, really unimportant. And feelings at the end of the day create everything. So we need our feelings to matter with the person that we choose to spend our life with. This is a really important decision. Okay, so if they say that they don't really like talking about feelings, if you're a sensitive person, it's not going to work for you. If you've been seeing someone for a while and you're wanting things to progress and you bring it up in conversation, probably really gently, because it's a vulnerable thing to do, isn't it? And then they say, why can't you just be happy with things as they are? I mean, that shows you there and then that they're not looking to grow. They're not looking to expand the relationship. They're not looking for a deeper relationship, which is what you're asking for and what you want. So if someone says, why can't you just be happy with things as they are? There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with our relationship. Unfortunately, that's a red flag, because it's not true for you, is it? If it was true for you, you wouldn't have asked. Red flag. Bye. When someone says sorry, but they use the word but after it, that's not an apology. That's literally complete avoidance of any accountability. That's blame. That's turning it around on you. So if someone says, I'm sorry, but you did this or that. I'm sorry, but that's not an apology. That's someone who's not willing to own up to where they might have hurt you, to own up to how they might have had an impact on you. Okay, so if they say the word sorry, but then say a but in it afterwards, then it's not going to work. The other thing as well is that people who can take responsibility for how they've shown up in a relationship will be genuinely sorry. They'll be genuinely sad that they've hurt you. They'll want to make it right. They'll want to listen. Okay, so if it feels like you're having to pry out an apology, pry out the awareness of how someone's impacted you, it shows a massive level of immaturity and lack of care and concern about you. And you want to be with someone who does care about you. If somebody is out of touch and they get back in touch, and then you ask them what happened and they say, I don't owe you any explanation. That is just a total lack of respect. Right? So if somebody doesn't respect how they've impacted you, and they're not willing to invest in the conversation about that, then they're showing you, again, a level of immaturity that's a massive red flag. All of these things that I've said, people have said to me in the past, and I've either tried to convince them to see it differently, tried to explain to them why that's hurtful, tried to explain in every way I possibly could why they needed to say it differently or understand or care more. And now I just don't have the time for that. I don't have the time to be disrupted like that in my life, in my peace. You know, if somebody's saying these things, they're telling you who they are at this time in their life. Yes, they can change, but they're not going to change by you explaining to them how to do it. They're going to change with boundaries, with self-respect, and with care for yourself and respect for the relationship that you do want. So I hope you found this video useful. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If you'd like any more support with this, support with boundaries, support with knowing what to say, then join the Heartbreak Healers Club. It's an amazing space where we grow, we learn, we talk, we share. People from all walks of life, all around the world. Most people have signed up again and again and again because it's amazing. It's such a beautiful space. And you get the new ebook, Perfect Replies to Your Avoidant, for free. So if you would like any more information about that, you can find out in the links below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.